Twitch.
No.
And
I went away.
I'm blanking right now. Sorry, I was thinking about something else. I got it. Yeah, you could use your words. Like an adult.
All right, is everyone ready to begin? We're live? Are we live?
We're live.
Okay, we're live. So, we spoke yesterday about the difference between the approach of Shammai and Hillel, or Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel. And we said that essentially, Shammai, being mechadde tefeh, being sharper, they're working from the standpoint of the Pnimius of Torah. The Pnimius of the Torah sees the potential in things. It sees that which is unseen, right, the hidden. And therefore, they're also on the lookout for hidden evil, because they believe that they're trying to refine the world at such a degree that they don't even, they're afraid to enter into something where there's any evil at all, even if the evil is hidden. Whereas Hillel's approach is, if the evil is hidden, it's not my business, and therefore I'm going to try and make everything I can mutter and elevatable. The hidden evil is beyond my perception, therefore I'm going to try and make everything I can permissible. And from here we'll understand why they said that when in those few times they did paskin like Shammai, when they voted like Shammai, they said it was a day as difficult as the making of the golden calf. We explained it yesterday, we'll just say it quickly again. Because what's the idea of making a golden calf? They made matter in the world that was unelevatable, right? In other words, so they left a certain amount of klippa in existence and tuma, things that we no longer have the ability to elevate. So too, every time Shammai is going to say something's usr, pasul, tameh, they're basically creating a scenario where that object cannot be elevated. And therefore, since, as far as Hillel is concerned, they don't see any reason why it shouldn't be elevated. It's like they made it like an idol in the world, that now it's just stuck with tuma, and they can't elevate it. Whereas if there's no evil, Hillel says, I don't see any evil, let's elevate it, right? So this is the comparison that we made. Shammai creating basically little idols all over the place, yeah.
How's that present in the Shammai's ruling about the Hanukkah candles? Because he seemingly is making more things Kedusha.
Not more or less. I think the point is with the Hanukkah candles, we see something has to do with the idea of potential, that he goes according to the potential, right? He's not more or less Kodesh. Each one winds up with the same amount of lights, just in a different order.
But we're saying,
And on the contrary, Shammai is going down in Kedusha, right? The point is that he's seeing the potential of things. That from the Hanukkah psak, we learn Shammai is looking at what cannot be seen, and he sees that which cannot be seen, i.e., day one, he's looking at 8 whole days, the unseen. So we see from there his general approach, which is one of seeing the potential and acting on the potential.
I don't see how there's the aspect of removing the possibility to refine something with the Hanukkah.
I'm not sure in that particular area there's a concept of make something puzzle or tameh. It basically doesn't really apply in that case. We could probably look deeper into it and it does, but yeah.
Not Shammai's logic, there was the bulls.
Shammai's logic was?
The bulls.
Comparing it to the schools.
He has a logic, okay, but I'm just saying, how does that play in here?
He said that he was like thinking about the potential. I thought like what he was thinking about was that it's the same thing as the bulls.
Again, if you want to, shall we sidetrack ourselves? Okay, sure. He's everywhere in the Torah. He's looking at potential, right? We see that also in the case of Hanukkah. Why do we bring the bulls? It says in Chassidus, because the Rabbanim, the Hanukkah candles are the Rabbanim. The Rabbanim cannot enact something that's totally disconnected with something that's in the Torah. And they can't just start making piskei dinim that don't have some hold in the Torah, because everything that the Rabbanim were matakin, it was ke'ein doraisa tiknu. They did it based on something from the Torah. So since Shammai is essentially doing something which seems totally unrelated to the Torah, because the Torah has a klal, mailim bekodesh ve'in morid, and you have to always go up. So he said, no, there is a place in Torah where we go down, right? It's the bulls of Sukkot where we successively go down. So he brings the bulls as basically a proof where he's allowed to paskin in such a way. But the reason he paskin in such a way and relied on those bulls is because of his interest in potential. That there is a concept of going down. Okay.
But according to Chassidus, we're actually going up by the bulls. Because the seventh, because Shmini Atzeres is bringing down Makif. Well, the first 7 days is Pneumonia.
We only allow, though, a derailing from one derailing. This is now a third derailing. We're not. It's a gezerah on a gezerah. You can't do it anymore. Okay, so page 189. Right, we're on the second column. We'll get to that in its time. Hanukkah's coming. Don't worry. Fine. So second column, page 189. Aval b'yemosa Mashiach. All of this, where we basically see Shammai as this sort of thing to avoid because he's leaving the world filled with more klippas, that's only nowadays when we paskin like Hillel. But in the days of Mashiach, we're going to paskin like Beis Shammai. How does that work? And we said already why this is, because there will be a changing in the weighing of decisions in the nature of the minds of the wise men of Israel. Right? They're going to suddenly sort of change their approach of looking at things. Why? It will change because of the nature of the change of the world that's going to take place in the days of Mashiach. Remember I said yesterday about Korach even, that he wasn't really wrong, he was just, his timing was off. Look at this footnote 124. He says, in the Timei HaMitzvahs, when we say Elu ve'elu divrei Elokim Chaim, if they're both true, Shammai and Hillel, they're both the words of the living God. That's where that statement comes from. By the way, we call Chassidus after this little chazal. Did you know that? What do we call Chassidus? Dach. You ever heard that? Dach is divrei Elokim Chaim, right? So this comes from this piece of text that we're working with. Elu ve'elu divrei Elokim Chaim. These and these are the words of the living God. Chassidus is called the words of the living God because it satisfies all opinions. It shows you where Shammai is true, etc. Anyway, kol echad v'echad diber emes lefi makomo, because each one spoke truth in according to his level. Elo shehalacha hu lefi azman. This is a very deep thing. The halacha is according to the time that you live in. So in other words, they both could be true. Like I say, even by Korach, right? That it's just it wasn't time for such an opinion. But it's not that there was no place for such an opinion. And how do we, since we live in time and space, so we have to paskin according to the time we live in. So suddenly when it's going to be the days of Mashiach, the halacha will change based on the time that we're in, right? And that's what he's saying here. Why would they suddenly change their minds? Because there's a different psak based on the reality that's before them, the Mashiach reality that's before them. And that's what it says, Al pi haklal she'ein lo ladayan ela ma she'einav ro'os. The dayan has to paskin, this is a halacha, meaning to say, you're sitting there in the court, and you're one of the judges, you can't be like, hey Shlomo, how are you paskining? Right? And paskin based on what he thinks. That's totally usher, right? You have to paskin based on how you see it. That's the whole Indian why we rely on the Jewish people's opinion and we go after the majority. We really need to know how you see it, because we're gonna need to paskin based on how each dayan and judge sees the matter. So in the days before Mashiach comes, we're going to have a certain perception of the world which is going to be exceedingly different than our perception when Mashiach comes. Primarily because Mashiach will have taught the world Torah Chadasha, Mi'iti Teitzei, right? Like a brand new way of understanding all of reality. And therefore, they're going to paskin differently. And therefore, we're going to hold like Das Beis Shammai. Why? Ki la'achrei yushlam birur hatov min hara, because once the refinement of good from evil is complete, which if you recall was the whole purpose of Nigla, yiyu kulam b'mamad matzav de hasam or chosav. Now everyone can go into a situation where they can be called by Shammai's name. But remember what we said Shammai means? A Shammai is a what? An appraiser, right? You can look much, much deeper. You can look for the hidden evil because you basically cleaned up the place. Now that you've cleaned up the place and you're not going to sort of leave the world unrefined, you can climb into a much, much deeper level of introspection. L'dakdek lishkol darkeim betachlis azahirus gamira hanelam. And you can now start to look even for hidden evils, right? At first, it's like you have to clean up what's available. So you're not in a position yet to start digging deep and cleaning up the hidden evils. Once the shlav harishon is done, now you can start to look deeper and find what's deeper underlying the problems. And when you do that, if you recall, what did we say was the purpose for the 3 extra cities of refuge? Who remembers? It's a little callback. Yeah?
What was the question?
What was the purpose for the 3 extra cities of refuge in the days of Mashiach? We said, why do we even need 6, let alone we're going to need 3 more? And we said they're going to. Then we explained that the cities of refuge were really a type of Torah. The 6 represented the Shas, the Shisha Sidrei Mishnah, and the 3 more represented the Kabbalah, the secrets of the Torah. Why do we need more? Right, but what are they going to do for us? Yeah?
It's refuge against the evil that's left.
They're going to refuge against even the potential of evil, right? So this is the idea. Once we've taken care of basically refining the good from the bad, our main interest now is making it so that the bad can never come out again. And so this is the idea. That's what it means. We're going to act like Shammai. We're going to go into a much, much deeper dive to look into the potential evil. Why? Because now it's relevant that we've gotten rid of the revealed evil. We want to look into whatever potential evil is there, so that won't even be able to come out. And that's basically sealing the deal. That's what was sort of missing in Gan Eden, so to speak. Right? There was potential evil, but they let it come out. Let alone what we said this morning about that being a positive thing. Just go with Pshat for a second, right? And the idea now is that the potential evil in the world will never have a way to express itself. Why? Because we're looking for potential evil, and we're already stopping it in its tracks before it comes out of its potential state.
What, are we to imagine that this is the type of city of Minority Report where they prevent crimes before they happen?
Well, no, it's not so much. Yes, it's preventing crimes before they happen, but the reason is because our ability to withhold the Yetzer Hara is on such a level that basically we're in control of ourselves so that it won't even come out and then have to be dealt with. It's kind of like the Inyan Batzadik, if you think about it, right? A Beinoni, he's got potential evil inside of him because his midos are animalistic. What can you do? What he can do, though, is when it comes out in a state of revelation, he can attack it at that level. The tzaddik already, he doesn't have to worry about potential, about revealed evil coming out in his thought, speech, and action, because he's already dealt with the midos themselves. If they're holy, there's certainly nothing coming out that's bad.
It's like a city of tzaddikim?
It's talking about, the cities of refuge are really hints, and it's a metaphor for Torah, because we said Torah is called both a city and it's called both refuge. You might have come in a little bit after that. But we explained that, why is it called a city? Who remembers why Torah is called a city? Rafi?
The letters of the houses and
the letters are stones, the houses are words, the city is all the houses together. The Chumash is basically called Ir Elokeinu, right? The city of our God. But then it's also called a city of refuge, because when you go into the Torah, it's a refuge from your Yetzer Hara. This next level Torah is a refuge on a whole different level. It's not just a refuge from the Yetzer Hara, it's a refuge from the Yetzer Hara ever being able to come out again. So this is the idea of, again, looking for the potential evil and being so careful about ourselves that we get to it before it even comes into reality.
So Beis Shammai is the new Ir Miklat?
Yeah, Beis Shammai represents the Pnimius HaTorah, the deeper look into the Torah, and the 3 cities of refuge. Basically, Chabad is the Beis Shammai operation, right? And that's what I'm saying. Also, Korach is a Chabad operation. And that's sort of like something that Chassidim talk about. Why Gimel Tammuz is Dafka in Parshas Korach. It's like, what's the shaykh of the Rebbe to Parshas Korach, right?
So that means if we hold like Beis Hillel when Mashiach comes, it's dangerous.
It's usher. Beis Hillel of Makom Beis Shammai Eino Mishnah, we're going to say then.
Because then you're opening the door to the potential evil Ir Miklat, essentially.
But you're not being careful to stop the evil in its hidden state, right? One last question, I'm going to go on.
just so now we're saying that we're going with Bet Shammai, which is the more stringent one, because we're trying to stop the potential evil.
Yeah.
Which is basically the completion of the birur process.
The birur's over, but
so
it's stopping it's stopping like the undoing of the birur.
Okay, so like in a way the completion of it. Right?
What's that?
In a way, because it's not yet the yichud process, because the yichud process for me would be
It is. No, but the idea is that now you can do proper yichudim because there's no potential for them to be like mucking up your with the evil.
If you're being more stringent.
Yeah.
That goes on.
We'll see. Right? So the point is, now he's looking for the hidden evil. Ad l'shlilas ha'efsharus de'inibiltzrit. So what we've done is we've negated even the possibility of negation of negative things. Al yedei dechias v'richok ha'devarim sheish b'mra nelam. How do we do this? Again, strict, pushing away all things that even have a potential evil. As we said before, there still is going to be evil in the world in the days of Mashiach, just sort of relegated. So we have to worry about that snake now all reconcentrated into one place, not getting out again. How are we going to accomplish this mission of not letting the potential come out and suddenly paskening in this way? Because a higher level of Torah will be revealed to us, which is called Mechadei Tefei, and this will be by all Bnei Yisrael, because Torah Chadasha Me'iti Teitzei, the new Torah will come out of me, as we explained at great length before. What that means, that Hashem, in other words, the new Torah comes out of me, is God talking, right? And how is a new Torah going to come out of me? Because there will be a prophet named Mashiach, who is going to be able to peer deeply into the Torah in a way that no man can see, and then he's going to be able to explain it in the language of man, right? So and therefore all Jewish people will be in possession of this, which is called the Taimei V'Soros HaTorah, the true deeper secrets of the Torah. Shliosim l'mayla Meshachas l'bira olam, because those secrets of the Torah are in the dimension of Torah which are beyond the world, right? They're not part of Nigla, which is either actually acting in the world, or at very least discussing the world. We're now going into the realm of Torah which doesn't even take the world into account. We're talking about aspects of Torah which, like Orein Sof, precede the notion of the world. Therefore, nishlales al yadam afilu have sharius inyanim bilti retzoyim. And that's why such a Torah, at such a level, it doesn't even allow the existence of the world to really have a place. Certainly it doesn't allow the negativity of the world to express itself. If everyone's holding in like a place where they're understanding that the world is bitul b'metzias, then certainly the world can no longer conceal and cloak over you and make you run after it into negative ways and draw you away from godliness. You've sort of revealed the truth of the world, which is that all it is the Devar Havaya, right? So if you're holding by such a level of Torah, and that's before your eyes, then the notion of the concealment of the world is basically an impossibility. Yeah? Yeah. Yud Dalit. Fine. Yesh lohosif. We want to add. Shegam bekesher b'sheiches l'chag HaShavuos. Okay, this was really a base Shavuos sicha. The Rabbi said this on the second day of Shavuos, so we're going to, thank God we're still in Sivan at least. Took us a while to finish this one. But in conjunction with the second day of Shavuos, right, or Shavuos in general, Zman Matan Torah Seinu, right? Shabo Nitna Kol HaTorah Kula, where this is the day that the entire Torah was given, including the Torah Chadash Me'iti Teitzei, right? It's important for us to note, especially if there's some newcomers in here, we're saying God's going to come and give us a second Torah. It doesn't mean there's going to be another Chas v'Shalom state, like Har Sinai scenario, because Hashem only gave the Torah once. Just what? It's called a new Torah because we're going to perceive things in that Torah that were unperceptible before. And therefore, when it comes time for Chag HaShavuos, and even Chodesh of Matan Torah, we are really celebrating not just the giving of the Torah, but in that Torah, we also got the Torah of Mashiach. We just didn't know it was there. Right? So,
I have a question.
yeah.
The new Torah
Yeah.
is inside
Inside,
our Torah,
yes.
but we cannot understand right now before Mashiach.
Exactly. It's inside. We say so. It's like a chiddush that's going to come out of it. The difference is between that chiddush and other chidushim that already came out of it, because the Mishnah came out of it, the Gemara came out of it, the Halacha, everything already came out of it. So what's so special about this coming out of it is all those chidushim, if we remember, were chidushim that could be found by regular man, which means they were already limited in scope of how deep you could look into Hashem's Torah. But since Mashiach is going to be a prophet, Rambam paskins, like Moshe Rabbeinu, so therefore God is going to reveal secrets that only God would know that are in his Torah. So that's why it's called a Torah Chadasha, like a brand new, we've never seen anything like it before. Yeah.
How can we objectively tell if something is like a brand new chiddush that's not possible by normal man versus like a chiddush that's only possible by a prophet? Like what's the metric for that?
Well, we have an example.
Every Torah that
We have an example. We have several examples, right? The first of all, this whole sichas based on the one example that's given clearly in the Medrash, which is that the shchita of the shor habar will be done with the fin of the leviathan, and even though that's in the Torah that we have now, it's considered treif. It's going to be considered kosher in the days of Mashiach, specifically because the Midrash says Mashiach is going to come and bring a Torah Chadasha. So that is literally the one metric. In other words, when that will happen and we're going to be able to eat it and we'll understand why, that will be the Torah Chadasha. Now, in addition to that, we also have, that's from Midrash, and from Kabbalah, we also have this notion of Shammai, right? Beis Shammai. The metric is that the whole Torah is going to change, and we're going to paskin like Beis Shammai.
But
That's the metric. You know,
if that's the metric, then couldn't anyone come along and fulfill those requirements without being a prophet? They could just say, "Oh, I found a way to hold by Beis Shammai. Oh, I found a way to do this shchita." To me, that's not really a metric. But how do you tell?
Well, first of all, if you come along and figure out a way to do it in accordance, like the shchita, right? The definition of that person will be Mashiach, because that's what it says. This is going to be Torah Chadasha, right?
Has anyone tried to do that?
Well, that's what this sikha is about, right? Now, others tried to do it before, and they came up with a simple answer, which was that it's called a horat sha'ah. You know what a horat sha'ah is? A prophet is allowed to temporarily make something permissible, which is usher, but it's only a temporary. The Rebbe rejected that answer because he said that's not called Torah Chadasha. That's already part of our old Torah. So therefore, the whole sikha is basically the Rebbe coming up with a new insight how to understand how this could become kosher. And you're right, from the external, because it says that Mashiach is going to be both a prophet and a wise man, wiser than Shlomo HaMelech. So there's the whole little secret over here. These guys have heard this many times. We've been working on this for a while. That he's going to receive it from prophecy, but if he tells us from a prophetic state, we actually have an obligation to not listen to him, because Torah lo b'shamayim he. So what he'll have to do is basically translate it by being wiser than the wisest man that ever lived, in order that all of us will understand it. But the fact that he's going to come out and explain why this shechita would be kosher in a way that we can understand it, and in a way that's called new Torah, that's not part of some previous Torah, this is what's going to be the definition. Or, in terms of going like Shammai, someone's going to come and explain to us why, and put it in the minds of all of the Jewish people, in the Chachmei Yisrael, why suddenly it makes sense to go like Shammai, and we're going to paskin like Shammai. This will be a metric that we have the new Torah, right? Because we're going to reevaluate all the. But you're right, the fact that comes from prophecy, you can't really know that, because the secret is that he translated into Chochmah that you can know, because if he doesn't, you can't paskin like that. But the very fact that we have sort of the future has been told to us. We know what's going to happen with our halacha situation when Mashiach comes. And we know, the Rebbe's proving, this whole thesis, the Rebbe's proving that really the source of that wisdom is going to be from a prophetic source, because why didn't we know it up until now? Mashiach's going to come with this deep insight from God, and when you hear the good word, you're going to understand why to go like Shammai, you should know that came from prophecy, which was explained by man. And that's why it's called a new Torah from me, right? Because if it was just a regular new Torah from man, it's not. You don't need Mashiach for that. Yeah.
Are we saying that the shechita with the thing, is that a stringency?
No, that's a leniency.
So how does
That's
it
the
go?
one leniency he explained.
Oh, that's the one that goes
This was
into
one of
Torah?
our questions. This is one of our leading questions. We said, why, when it comes to all the other laws of Mashiach, we go like Shammai and we're strict. Whereas the one poster child where we learn what Torah Chadasha is, we go lenient. So your question is one of our questions, and the Rabbi is going to discuss that.
Okay.
It's the one that was not.
We talked about it, or?
We asked the question. We didn't answer it yet.
I didn't really understand your answer to my question, just in the sense of, I understood that you said basically, how can we know that this person is Mashiach? Because other people have tried to explain the shechita, and other people have tried to explain why we should paskin like Beis Shammai. You said because they will explain it in a way that is smarter than the smartest person.
Not smarter than the smartest person. First of all, no one's been able to explain to us yet why we should go like Beis Shammai. And that's why we don't.
No one's ever tried to do that, to paskin like Beis Shammai?
You're not allowed.
No one's ever tried to write why we should paskin like Beis Shammai?
To Pascha, I mean, in Chassidus you find these things. The Arizal tells us the secret. In the future, we're going to pass like Beis Shammai.
No,
So I'm saying, from the Arizal and on, we learned that that's going to go like that. So from that point, we never knew such a thing. That's part of the Panimius Torah itself, to even know that there is such a thing. But yeah, from the Arizal until the Alter Rebbe, which is just a couple hundred years, no one fleshed that out and explained to us the seichel behind Beis Shammai and why it's relevant. And so as the 7 generations from the Alter Rebbe until now, it's gotten more and more Chassidus, has filled the world and given us deeper insights to the point that basically we're now sort of letting the cat out of the bag. It's starting to make sense, mamash, why we should hold like Beis Shammai. We still can't, because we need a Sanhedrin, and the Sanhedrin will have to paskin. No one on their own can just decide, I'm going to go like Beis Shammai. That's totally usser. But when the Sanhedrin will come back together, and they're going to start voting on all the laws again, there'll be the Torah of Mashiach that's going to be informing their decision making, and therefore they're going to naturally pass like Beis Shammai, not because someone told them to, because they're going to see the world like that, right? He's just explaining a little bit more than the Arizal did. The Arizal just sort of told us prophetically, we're going to hold like Beis Shammai. He's explaining how that's going to work, right? That it's not really going to be some kind of a miracle. It's going to make sense to them in accordance with Beis Shammai at that time. But why? Where did they get all this new sense? For thousands of years and all the different Sanhedrins, they never figured that out before? Because there's going to be a new form of wisdom of the Torah. The secrets of the Torah will inform all of our decision making, and it will make us paskin mamash the opposite on every case.
This is telling us why.
This is telling us why. But we didn't get very far today, did we now?
Wait, but that means that this is...
We're done. That's it. It's over.
This is the...
Till tomorrow.
Yeah.
Till tomorrow.